Alright, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's August 1st, Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, here at PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. So, been messing around with our logo a little bit. If you get a chance, drop us a note. Let me know what you think. I like it. It's a little abstract, and my wife thinks it looks like a cat. So, that's not what it is, but alrighty. Let's flip over to these charts. And let's talk about the markets. Here's the S&P 500, and um, it's a really interesting moment in the markets. So the S&P went down by 12 points today, or hardly nothing. It's minus 0.27%. The Dow went up by 71 points today, and that sort of makes sense too. So the S&P, we've been climbing on uh, uh, our indicator here in the middle here. I call it the DDEMAs, or the DDEMAs, and I don't know if that's going to stick. But anyways, green, green, green. This is the hourly chart on the right. This is the daily chart in the middle, and the weekly chart on the left. And green, green, and green, and they just stay green. And however, we got some noise back here a few days ago, where it turned red on the bars, and it turned red on the bars here in the last day. Um, you can see it turned red back here and turned right back to green, turned red here, turned right back to green. One of these days it's going to turn red and stay red. And I wanted to show too, I don't think I've shown you guys this before, but this is kind of a neat trick I learned a while back. And I've been trading the markets since 2006, and I wouldn't even call it. 2006 was nothing but learning, and literally. So I'm going to say literally the first 5 years was a lot of learning and a lot of misery, to be honest with you. So, but in any case, that's where I got my yeah, that's I got all the wounds and everything to go with it, and that's how I learned how to trade markets, is by I think I've tested just about everything. So that's the kind of guy I am. Anyways, this is a neat trick I learned along the way, and this is the S&P, the same S&P 500 we were just looking at, except this is a 15-minute chart, a 30-minute chart, a 1-hour chart, and a 4-hour chart. So you're just breaking your day down, and it really works with anything. If you stop the video, you can see you can take all the settings, whatever you want. You get a nice setup that you like, one that works for you, and then break it down, and you can literally track all the green. Is it going green or is it turning red? And the reason I even want to bring this up is let's look at let's look at the Dow. Let's use the YM. It might take a second to convert. There you go. So overnight, you can even see it's taken a dip on the Dow. This is the futures contract, but you can see we had green, and then now we've turned red, and not only that, we got a gap down. It was gap down, stayed green here for a minute, and now it's gone to red. Gap down, stayed green here, turned red. We're still green on the hourly chart, or the 4-hour chart, I'm sorry. So these things will literally build from the inside out. They will succeed and fail from the inside out as well. So you can put Apple in here. You can put whatever you want, and you can look at it and see what way are we trending. I mean, this from the 15-minute chart, you can see it is going down, and it's rolling over on the 30-minute, and it's rolling over on the 1-hour, and it's starting to think about rolling over on the 4-hour. And if you compare that to here's the 1-hour, the daily, and the weekly, and we've been going straight up, and we've got earnings popping up right here. So I'm not saying that it's going to fall, but it is trending that way. Earnings is a game changer. If something happens, this thing could gap, $20 higher, and it would not be a giant deal. It could also gap $40 lower and it wouldn't be a giant deal. So I could show you guys some things. In fact, let's go just look at it because it could be fun. Um, this over here on the right hand side is, in fact, I think we have to open it up to look at 3 days out. 3 days out, the expected move is $6.86 in either direction of 195. So effectively 190 to 200. That literally is on this page. It's in Thinkorswim. It's in a lot of platforms. In 10 days, that move goes to $8.50 up or down. And so it's built in to show you the potential. And since we have earnings in the next 3 days, the expected move is $6.86. So, you have information at your fingertips that you can use and build strategies around. So $7 off of here down to 190 puts it down here. $7 up from 195 gets you to 200, 202. That's up here. So you can actually see, if you look here, these standard deviation numbers or levels is about where that lays. So, and if because of earnings, you can move 2 standard deviations. That's an odd move. Typically, the earnings will be inside of 1 standard deviation, but if you get an outside move, then that's actually a bigger deal in either direction. If it's a bigger deal to the downside, then you can expect further downside. If it's a bigger deal to the upside, you can expect further upside. Not immediately. So, alright, I'm going to get off of that and move on to the rest of the charts. So, let's go to the transports, which look like they're starting to turn red. Again, from the inside out. 1 hour is turning red. The daily's fine and the weekly's fine. However, you can see if we take a pullback into this zone on the weekly, it should stay intact. So, what else? The Russell, it's pulled back higher, and now if this is a lower high, then we'll end up probably get taken in a new lower low. And we have targets to the downside. The NASDAQ, similar idea. Came back. It's not as extreme. There's not as much volatility in it yet. So, but if it starts, if this is the lower high, then we can end up putting in a lower low, and then all of a sudden we're working in a downtrend. And last but not least, oil is actually up almost 1% overnight right now, but the USO contract for the ETF, the Exchange Traded Fund, looks like it also wants to pull back. So, if we continue to extend into this zone up here, which is like old highs, boy, I'd expect that to be kind of like the end of it for the moment as well. Even if it rolls over here, that's expected too, but if it gets any more of a boost, you'd sure expect it to stop here at these old highs. And I think that's enough for tonight. Let's flip over to stockcharts.com, type in the bullish for the bullish percent index, and flip through these real quick. The industrials didn't move. The NYA tacked on a new green X today, and the reason it's an 8 there is because it's a new month. So when you get the numbers, it actually is when the months change, and then the letters, because there's only there's 12 months in a year. So transports, they rolled over 5%. They did this the other day, and then they rolled right back up again. So what we need is 1 more percent down, and we'll get a new column of O's. And if we get a column of O's here, I'd expect some pretty serious downside, at least for the short term. If we don't, we could get our face ripped off if we went short there, which I did a little bit. Uh, but I will set stops and I do have limited risk. Here's the NASDAQ. Really not much of a move at all. The SPX, the S&P 500, down or up 0.26%, so very resilient. The OEX, the S&P 100, didn't move today, and then finally the NDX minus 1.32%. So still really not a big move. You'll notice when these things get to be big moves. And then let's do our automated trading systems. So yeah, I'm going to show you a bad. Well, we had a rough. Not a. It's just par for the course. But this is the YM, which is the Dow, and that's from 131 until today. So uh, whatever that is, 7 months worth of data. And this is the actual trading that happened today, which is a couple of losers. After we've had a nice little run back up again, I was kind of hoping to get this trend going again to the upside. And actually, something that happened to me today is I was away from my trading platform for a little while, and when I got back, I had a right here. There was a sign from TradeStation that said, "Hey, it appears that your order didn't go through. Would you like to close your position?" And of course, I'd been away from my platform for a while, and this is I mean, these are anticipated losses over here that are built into the system. This is a rogue trade that lost me because of my size that I trade in, something to the tune of $1,200 or $1,400, which is it is what it is. In the scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. I already was down, so act like I'm down to there instead. It's just an aggravation when the computer doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It's why I also have it in my phone so I can look it up while it's on trades. But I also, uh, yeah, I work a job and a number of other things during the day. So, this is par for the course. The good news is I got a signal that or a thing when I got back to my desk and said, "Do you want to close it?" And I said, "Yeah," and I closed it. And this has happened before. By and large, it only happens against you. I'd love that one of these days if it actually happened in my favor, but that just seems to be Murphy's law. In the scheme of things, it's just fine. It's just that is a rogue trade. They happen. Yuck. So here's the Russell. This is not a rogue trade. It's just another negative trade for the day. By the way, the stuff I built into the Nasdaq trade over the weekend. I talked about it the other day. It was to reduce some trades and to reduce some signals and to make the green dots happen closer together. I'm going to be looking into that and to adding it in here so I can trade fewer times and still get the same results. And I'm going to put it into my Russell contract, which is what this is. Although this thing already trades not very often and still has a decent upslope. But I am going to still explore what happens when I add some of those parameters into this because they're simple parameters. And ultimately, what I'm trying to do is get reduced code with reduced parameters. So there's nothing but math behind all this, and it's not over optimized. And then still my favorite, the NQ, which is tightened up now. It still pulled back today or in the last couple days, but it's just fine, and it looks great here, even better. This is just a tighter uptrend than it used to be by just a hair, and ultimately I think it added on 10% to the upside. And you know what? If I can make this system work 10% better all the time and have less of a drawdown, that is the name of the game. And I'll leave you guys with that for tonight, and hopefully tomorrow everything works the way it's supposed to and we don't have any rogue trades. So take care, guys. Have a great evening.